Well, that's a wrap, folks. Regular season is done and over.
He doesn't know we still have the playoffs, right, Jacque?
I should hope so. He's the guy organizing things, keeping the ship from sinking.
Oh, right. Playoff time. Good morning, Solaris 7. Calgary Battletech brings you Uncivil Discourse with your hosts, Brett, Lee, and commentary from Jacque. It's been a very exciting week here. We had some great matches and a lineup for our top 16 teams going into round 1. Things have settled into their final rankings for the season. Top 1 through 8 will play for the overall trophy, while rankings 9 through 16 are playing for the coveted runner-up title.
I'm super excited. This is almost as exciting as Christmas for me. We've been playing at the Ogre's Den all season with the trophy on display overlooking all the games. Now, the players don't actually get to keep the trophy, and it's more like the Stanley Cup in the fact that our winners will get a plaque made and it'll be added to the trophy, and then they get one to take home for themselves and put up on display.
You know, I really don't think our listeners need to know you're excited, Lee. That's just a violent mental image. But it has been really great to see Battletech being resurrected here again in ye old YYC. Now, for those who aren't av geeks and not really in the know, YYC is the international code for our airport here in Calgary, if any of our international viewers may want to come and visit, which I highly recommend. So many good games, matchups, upsets, and David Wampin on Goliath situations this year. It's been a humdinger.
Yeah, it's been amazing how many great fights have been going on. And now that the season has been wrapped up, we would like our players to please take some time and think back over the past few months. We're looking for nominations for the following awards. You may have seen some of them being put up on the Facebook group. These awards, you, the players, get to determine, so please take a moment and send some submissions in. First off is the Phoenix Hawk Award, aka the Tactical Blunder Award, or as my wife has lovingly named it, the Phawk Award, Phawk. Tell us about a moment you saw in one of your games or overheard from the table beside you regarding a situation that was clearly a mistake or might have gone well if fate was kind, but had gone horribly wrong.
Master Tactician. They don't have to have won any games or have anything at all to do with the stats this year. This award is for someone you think of who has a really good grasp on tactics and strategy, on the rules, the stats, and who you can turn to ask a question and get a trusted answer. Hey, JP, how does an AMS work? Hey, Lee, what's the range on a NARC beacon? Things that you just don't even have to question the answer you'll get. Potentially, hey, what's a good skill for this mech? And they have an answer. Master Tactician is for that go-to person that you think really stands out and has a really good grasp of the game and how to win it.
And coming up next is the Sportsmanship Award, also known as the Good Egg Award. Who was it in the community? You know, you don't have to have played them. You could have observed it. That made coming out every 2 weeks a better experience for you. Who do you think of when someone says, who is the one person you're looking to see, chat with, play against, anything? Just this would be the ambassador of the league. Who embodies the spirit of the game the most?
Our final round of regular season saw some great matchups, some smack talk, and some unexpected outcomes. In our first game, Clan Cobra Chicken swooped low over the Winter Wonderlands to face off against the First Clovis Lancers.
Oh man, if Daffy and Bugs were here, they wouldn't even be arguing. They would just both look up at the camera and say, it's chicken season.
Yep, barbecue chicken, fried chicken, sweet and sour chicken, roast chicken. 4-1 Lancer victory. Enough said. I told you, the birds were done.
Our second matchup this week, has Riston's rogues lay await in the mountain lakes looking for some blitzkrieg Jezebels to ambush. I've got this recorded as a 4-0 rogues victory. Lee, is that right?
You know what? And I've been betting on the Rogues all season long. And they've been making me mad Seabills. And what do? I voted against them. It's really hard to be supporting family, isn't it, Brett?
Sometimes.
Yeah, you just didn't want to have to sleep in the bathtub again there, Lee. I honestly think this is one of the few games this year that Rogues Kintaro didn't go up like a Zippo in a fireworks shop. It's almost like every game it was there goes the Kintaro, poof.
Game number 3, Red Suns Irregulars go rabbit hunting on the plains of death and run smack dab into a world of hurt. Bunnies victory 3-0. I think I called that.
Yeah, it looks like you finally called a game properly, Brett. Not just betting on your family to win.
Oh, fortune favored the Bunnies this game. After their ups and downs all season, nice to see them ended on a high note with a W.
Yeah, they've actually been fairly well this year. I'm glad that they joined. Game number 4, Cavalier Commandos rocking and rolling in the River Valley all over the Shitehawks. The Capellans put down another win here today and secure playoff spot with this 2-0 victory.
This was a game between two of our very best sportsmen, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're both nominated for the Good Egg. They are both wonderful people to sit down across the table from.
What'd I say? What did Jacque say? My boy Dave. Cavalier Commandos are the Cinderella team this year. They've been moving and proving they got what it takes. Again, these guys are going to take the championship. Mark my words, people.
Game number 5, the Custom Plains Arena sees 55th Shadow Division come down from Edmonton to lay some smackdown on the Einherjar. 2-0 victory.
Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see. This game was pretty much as some people predicted. Once again, I don't think this was my week for predictions, except for an important one.
I don't think any of your weeks are good for your predictions there, Lee. Yeah, this unfortunately was an ugly game and not in the good way. It was bad luck for the Viking boys and pure and simple. Just straight up bad luck.
And that'll take us into game number 6. The Draconis Spirits and Macross Stables meet up on some difficult ground for a difficult scrap. Both players called this a slugfest, but left smiling, so it had to be at least a good game. 1-0 victory for Macross Stables, pulling in their first win this season.
The Draconis Spirits, there's not a whole lot I can say about this team other than they are one of the best eggs of the year. They always showed up early, always showed up eager, and I really hope to see him out next year again because I'm pretty sure he's going to have a much better season.
Oh yeah, Chris is this season's Good Egg Award is going to be, in my opinion, the most contested one out there, just because of all the great people we have in the league. And last place in the season, just because you finished last, it is not the end of the world. If you're back for next season, you're guaranteed first pick for faction. If you don't want to stay with the same stable or same stable ideas, it's a way to build. It's an improvement. It's a way to get better.
Yeah, it really is a way to build into the next season. Our next game, game number 7, saw the Crimson Ronin and Carstairs Stables face off in the road in the hills. This was bound to be a slugfest. Both players have a bully you around the field playstyle.
Brett, you can't call all of the games. Carstairs brought down the big boy hammer and smashed the Ronin in a 2-1 victory, really showing that the Carstairs Stables is a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, this was March of the Zombies. Combat wisdom on half the lands to protect the pilots. I mean, this team is going to be the one to try and make it through the playoffs as the last man standing, and he's got a good chance at doing it too.
Executive Outcome and Hubris Inc. are unable to play out their match due to a combination of holiday schedule and seasonal illness. Sorry to see this game not getting played.
It's unfortunate as these are two of our season's monster teams. It would have been a great game to watch, and I'm pretty sure we would have seen some amazing gameplay.
This would have been messy, just pure and simple. But, sometimes it happens. Life gets in the way. Nothing really negative to say about it, but, too bad we didn't get to see the throwdown. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to game number 9. And as part of my little spiel about this game, this is the Jacque Award for
Talk shit, get hit.
Brett flapping his gums left and right.
Nope.
Didn't bring it to the table. Most hyped game of the season, and he got slapped. But Lee's also getting a tie for this award because, waving shadows and comparing sizes also on his mark.
Oh man, this was a great game. Always super enjoyable, but it's nice to see you finally take home a win this time, Lee. Won't happen again in playoffs, though.
I got a rough road to hoe. I got to play Heather next, which I have yet to beat as well. So, Brett, it was a great game. You played well. It was right up until the last couple of really unfortunate dice rolls. Me snapping the leg off your pristine gunslinger, or darn near pristine, putting him on his face, as well as a couple of turns of fire that I really am surprised I did as much damage as I could. Your poor wolf trap ate it for about 3 rounds there of LRM fire. Great game. Love to play it. Look forward to playing you in the playoffs, but I think it's going to be a difficult time for either of us to run into each other in the A side.
Yeah, it was definitely a well-earned 4-3 victory. Although that gunslinger might be getting retired for next season because he's had that leg snapped off 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah, but you can replace it with a thunder chicken. Come on. It's a pretty decent upgrade.
I'm thinking about that. Just got to be able to pick the right faction to slip it in.
On that note, I want to make a comment on the commentator's accuracy on our predictions. We did the best we could with limited information since there were so many new players in League. It's kind of interesting. We ended up with a tie between Lee and Jacque. We had 22 out of a possible 63 games to predict. We didn't do a prediction for game weeks. It's a game one's week, simply because we didn't know enough about the teams to see how they were going to do, which ended us up with a 35% accuracy. Now, slight drum roll. Brett was a whopping 44% accurate on his predictions with 28 out of a possible 63 games. Way to go, Brett. I think I might be having to pay attention to what you have to say a little bit more next year.
Yeah, I might actually have to pay a little bit more attention and make sure that that's over 50% too.
If you were crazy enough to take my predictions and put your money on it, yeah, y'all deserve to lose it. I got no kickbacks. Trust me, I've just given my opinions.
With the regular season all wrapped up, we're now moving into the playoff realm. And as such, I have decided to invite our youngest member and newest rookie to the Calgary Battletech League, Alex Sochowski, who's here to explain to us what his experience with the Calgary Battletech League has been like so far. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
As our youngest league member, what was the very first moment that you felt that you wanted to play Battletech?
For me, it was when my dad brought me to the Myth Games shop like a while ago, like many years before it closed down, unfortunately, is when I actually had the thought to play Battletech, because giant robots, and as a kid, giant robots was the thing, because I grew up watching the original Transformers and all.
That's good experience bringing from your dad, because I'm pretty sure you were born after the show was off the air. But
Yes.
if your dad was giving you exposure to Transformers, he was doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Even got some of his old stuff, too.
Oh, good. Lucky boy.
Yeah.
So, And keep a hold of them. Those things are going to be worth good money. You might be able to pay for university with those.
We'll see. They have use on them.
Speaking of family, what's it been feeling like to play against your mom and dad?
Haven't actually come across playing against either of the two in the league so far. Because, well, my dad is the other Draconis Combine, and he's also now the A-side playoff, so unfortunately won't be able to actually play him.
That is true. You guys didn't play on the field, but you guys were competing for standings. And for a while there, I think you and your mom were ahead of Brett in the standings. He just barely squeaked his way into A-side.
A-side. Yeah, it was. So the only person who I may actually get a chance to face off against is my mother, if she's not kicked out in the first game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's going to do well, though you are definitely one of our up-and-coming players. Now, League has been around for far longer than you've been alive, as well as the fact that your first memory of League is Myth Games, and we played almost 7 seasons out of the Sentry Box. Was Battletech something you were originally interested in, or did your mom and dad have to talk you into it?
My dad kind of talked me into it as something to do to get myself out of the house, to meet new people, to experience something else. And I'm happy he did. Because it was either this or Warhammer.
Yeah, this at least won't break the bank.
Yep.
So, when it comes to Battletech in the whole, do you have any favorite moments of the League? Or do you have any particular mechs that you enjoyed playing with or against?
One of my favorite moments for me was second game, which I believe was against Gary, I think, where I pot-shotted one of his mechs with the Gauss rifle. Full 15 points straight to the face.
Yeah, that's always got a good feel to it. It's like taking that autocannon 20 and blasting somebody in the face. It's pretty good feeling when you just delete them from the board.
Yeah, which then leads into one of my favorite mechs for me is the Atlas, because it is the embodiment of a mech for me, of what they're supposed to be. A walking tank with a giant gun on it. Has the Gauss rifle hit many shots? No. Has the Atlas served its purpose? Yes. It has been the walking tank, and has survived nearly all of the matches leading up to the tournament. Aaron was the lucky person to actually defeat the Atlas.
That's actually a pretty good feather in his cap, because that's one of the harder mechs to kill.
Yes. Did it by destroying the head.
And I know Jacque will agree with you. The Atlas is really the epitome of big, tough, stompy battle mechs. Until you start getting into the clans, and then it gets outclassed pretty quickly. But really, there's not a whole lot in the inner sphere that can beat it. Even mechs like the Thunderhawk that are throwing 3 Gauss rifles a turn, which, if you're with us next season, you may have access to. The Atlas is still a frightening mech to face. Well, Alex, this has been a nice, real quick interview. Glad to have you with us. Now, do you have any comments for any of the current players that you've played against, or anybody that you're going to be seeing in playoffs this year?
Do your best out there. All just the luck of the dice. Anything can happen these days. That's for sure. That's all we really come out to do, is have fun, socialize with people, even in these trying times. Yes, is it going to be now tournament season, and we're going to be wanting more to get that ever-elusive first place in either B-side or A-side, but still come out and have fun.
I want to say it's been a pleasure watching you play this season. You've been doing really well and getting into the spirit of things, and from watching you play, it's been great. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing how well you do in the playoffs.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Alex, for joining us into that last regular season game interview. We will be looking to interview a few more of our wonderful players during the playoffs. This leads us into the playoffs and those matches. Teams ranked 1 through 8 will play for overall championship, while teams 9 to 16 will play for the runner-up. Unfortunately, we've had one player have to drop out as the 3 games in month at the beginning of the year is a little too constrictive schedule-wise. Unfortunately, Mackenzie has had to drop out. We wish she'd be able to keep playing, but we look forward to hopefully seeing her return next season. Jacque, you want to run down our final standings of the year?
All right, ladies and germs, here we are. Final standings before into the head-to-head blood matches. Number 1, we have the Wobbies and the 55th Shadow Division, finishing with a record of 7 wins, 1 loss, no ties. Second one, I'm thinking is a fixed placement, Merrick's Marauders, just because he happens to be an admin, and admin finishing in the top 5 is very suspicious in my opinion. Ended off the season with 6 wins, 1 loss, and a 1 tie. Riston
Hey,
Who wrote the schedule?
Yeah. Third place in the final standings, Riston's Rogues, finishing with a record of 6 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Going to be interesting to see where they finish off in the season, as they've been one of the major powerhouses this season. Number 4 spot goes to Mackenzie and Humorous Inc., with a record of 5 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. Again, sadly, Mackenzie's not going to be able to finish the playoffs with us this year. Hope to see you again next year, Mackenzie. It's been great having you. In 5th place, we have Executive Outcomes. JP finishes with a record of 5 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. Going to be interesting to see where JP finishes off as well. Usually he's a very strong contender, and I believe he's also had 2 back-to-back wins in a previous league. 6th place, it's Jock's boy Dave and his Cavalier Commandos. Cinderella finish. 4 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties. I'm still saying he's going to come taking the championship, and if not, getting very, very close. In number 7 place, we've got the First Clovis Lancers, finishing the year with 4 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. Lee's better half, the Blitzkrieg Jezebels, finish off the season with 3 wins, 2 losses, and 3 ties. One of the teams with the most ties in the season this year. 9th spot goes to Brett and his Ghost Legion. They finish with 3 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. Riding his coattails, the very well overdone Climb Cobra Chickens. 3 wins, 4 losses, and a tie. And rounding out this group are the Carstairs Stables, also with 3 wins, 4 losses, and a tie in 11th place. 12th place goes to the Killer Bunnies with 3 wins, 5 losses, and no ties. Brett's littlest, Crimson Ronin, finish off their season in 13th place with 2 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties. 14th place, the Viking boys out of the FRR, the Einhiljar. 1 win, 3 losses, 4 ties. Bit of a heartbreaking season for them. Hopefully things will get better for their luck next season. 15th place, we've got Macross Stables. 1 win, 4 losses, and 3 ties. 16th place, a new player to the league and to the community, the Shidehawks. 1 win, 5 losses, 2 ties. Good showing for a rookie crew. Hopefully they'll get a little bit better next season. 17th place, 1 win, 6 loss, 1 tie, the Red Suns Irregulars. And last but not least, the Draconis Spirits. No wins, unfortunately, the goose egg in the W column. 7 losses and a tie. But if they come back next season, guaranteed first faction pick for them. So that's a good way to start off their season.
Let's take a moment here and lay some bets. Let's pick our winners, folks. And just to make it interesting, you're not allowed to bet on yourself because that's way too easy of an out. For Division 1, overall season champion, my pick is going to be Riston's Rogues. For Division 2 and runner-up overall champion, I'm going to have to go with Carstairs Stables. That team has seen more growth than most of the other rookie teams this year.
Brett, come on. I had myself all penciled in here. All right, fine. My Division 1 pick has got to be the 55th Shadow Division. They've shown way too much class and way too much skill. Despite all of our provincial animosity, we're still looking up at them from the bottom, seeing how well they've been doing. I really do think they're going to win this. Division 2, I'm going to give that to our very own Clan Cobra Chickens. I think they have it in them to do it as long as John focuses and doesn't beat himself in the numbers.
Y'all know my pick for Division 1. My boy Dave and the Cavalier Commandos. They going to take it. Admit it. You know it. It's going to happen. It's destiny. It's inevitable. Division 2, you know what? I'm going to give it to the Crimson Ronin. I think they're going to be the spoiler. Crimson Ronin is definitely going to be the spoiler in Division 2. I think they're going to take B-side.
This takes us into the first bracket of matches. Game number 1, we have the in first place 55th Shadow Division with 7 wins, 1 loss, and 0 ties, with a league-leading 27 kills and a almost league-leading 9 losses, up against our 9th place Ghost Legion with 3 wins, 4 losses, and a tie, with almost an even 18 kills for and 17 against.
This year, the 55th Shadow Division came out of nowhere to finish with a sterling record. They were one of 3 new stables to finish in the top 10 and secure top spot overall. This season, the Shadow Division only faced 2 A-side playoff teams, defeating both Merrick Marauders and the 1st Clovis Lancers. Although the Shadow Division did face teams that have finished 10th through 14th and went 4-1 in those games. The lone blemish on the Shadow Division record came courtesy of a Week 3 defeat at the hands of the Killer Bunnies, which proved they are vulnerable and can go down. The 55th led the league while taking down 27 mechs in total. Despite an aggressive play, they did manage to keep their losses down to 9, which tied them for 3rd best total overall.
The Ghost Legion has clawed and fought for their playoff lives, fighting 5 games against Merrick's Marauders, Riston's Rogues, Hubris Inc., Executive Outcome, and the Blitzkrieg Jezebels, who are all ranked amongst the league's elite. The Ghost Legion's record in these contests, 0 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie, with their Week 8 loss against the Merrick Marauders seeming to have sealed their fate until Hubris Inc. had to bow out of the playoffs due to the scheduling concerns. Overall, the Ghost Legion had the most challenging schedule of all of the A-side playoff teams. And now the Ghost Legion is back, and they're ready to reap their vengeance against those A-side playoff teams. Despite their troubles, the Ghost Legion did secure a 4-0 win in an unsanctioned match in Week 3 against the Shadow Division, showing that they can stand up to the big guys. The Ghost Legion secured 18 kills, the 15th best total in the league, and while on the defensive side they suffered 17 casualties, showing they were willing to lose mechs to get those kills. I'm going to place my predictions down right now. Brett, you're doing a way better showing up against the 55th Shadow Division than we've had seen in the past. I think you're going to take it to them, but in the end you're going to fall. But it's going to be a 4-3, just like you're in my game. It's going to come down to lucky hits, but it's going to be 4-3 55th Shadow.
I'm looking forward to proceeding on to round number 2 in the playoffs.
Nope.
55th Shadow Division, Victor with an AC-20, Shootist with an AC-20, Kakata with that clan ERPPC, and a Banshee 3S, lots of close-range firepower, versus my Gunslinger's Twin Gauze, an LB-10 and an LRM-10 on the Wolf Trap, 2 PPC Zombie Warhammer, and the close-in Wolverine just to round things out. If the map lets me keep some range, this should go well for me. If not, I'm going to be counting on my inherent luck to land some quality shots or some lucky hits in correct locations to pull this win. I got to agree with you, though. 4-3 victory. I'm betting on myself.
Now, here's the thing where I'm torn. Do I support the Wobbies because I know they can do it, or do I curse Brett and back him? Because if I say Brett's going to win, it's going to be a curse, just because I'd love to see him go down in flames. But that's just me. This game, this is going to come down to luck. Both players, phenomenal in their tactics. They know their mechs. They know the maps. This is going to come down to who gets that first really big, juicy hit and can capitalize on it for the rest of the game. Oh, I'm not allowed to say ties. I hate you guys. I'm sorry, Brett. I got to give it to the 55th. They're just that much more scary. I just got to say that.
That's okay. I'm good with that. And it actually, You keyed in on it. I think it's going to come down to whoever gets that first drop. Game number 2, second place, Merrick Marauders, 5 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. 24 kills, 13 losses. Versus the 8th place, Blitzkrieg Jezebels, 3 wins, 2 losses, and 3 ties. 15 kills, 14 losses. Merrick's Marauders have put in an exceptional season. After an opening round tie with the Blitzkrieg Jezebels, Merrick's Marauders have tallied wins in 6 of their 7 last games, with only a blemish being Week 5 matchup against the 55th Shadow Division. Now, the Marauders face those same Jezebels again, with no possibility of a tie, so you can't protect yourself from sleeping on the couch. Against an A-side playoff team, the Marauders defeated the Ghost Legion, the 1st Clovis Lancers, and Cavalier Commandos for a 3-1-1 record in 5 games.
For the Jezebels, the season has really been a story of 2 halves. In the first 5 weeks, the Jezebels had posted an undefeated 3 wins, 0 losses, and 2 tie record, and were sitting pretty in the league's 4th position. The Jez's last 3 games consisted of a scheduling tie and a pair of losses that saw them slide down to the 8th place in the standings. That being said, the Jezebels have gone 1-1-1 against A-side competition, with their only loss coming Week 8 against Riston's Rogues.
Now, the Marauders have scored 24 kills, good for the 2nd best league-wide, while allowing 13 in return, which ties them for the middle of the pack of 9th. Conversely, the Jezebels have scored 15 kills, good for 8th, while suffering 14 mechs lost, which leaves them tied in 11th place. For an added layer of drama and narrative, Heather and Lee, as we know, are married. So, either way, one member of the Thomas family will advance to the top 4, and the other one, Lee, will be sleeping not on the couch, but in the bathtub.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Marauders are a fire support style lance, while the Jezebels will be leaning on that Devastator to lay some pain. I think this is going to end in a 3-2 win for the boys from House Merrick.
I agree with you, Jacque. I don't know who's going to win it, but in the end, I'm going to be the loser. Heather has a great team. I helped her build it. I helped her design the skill packs that she was going to use. The only thing is, because I helped her design her stable and she didn't help me, I have the inside track with a little bit better knowledge of the 2 sides. I'm going to say I'm going to win, but it's going to be darn close to a tie, and we may have to actually count damage points to figure out who wins. But it's going to fall down to the Merrick's Marauders.
Nope, sorry, you're going down. Flames, you're done. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye to the Merrick's Marauders. Blitzkrieg Jezebels will be advancing on to the next round. Thank you!
There is a reason why we keep him as only the special commentators, Brett.
I'm glad we don't pay him.
Game number 5, we have the 3rd place Riston's Rogues with 5 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie, with 15 kills against 8 lost mechs, versus the 7th place 1st Clovis Lancers with 4 wins, 3 losses, and a single tie, with 16 kills up against 12 losses. After a hard-fought tie in Week 1 against the Einhajar, all Riston's Rogues did for weeks was win, 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 no matter what. 5 straight opponents stepped up and were knocked down, including that league-leading Hubris Inc. at the time. The Rogues' reward for such an impressive streak of dominance was the top spot in the Calgary Battletech League and a legitimate shot at running the stable undefeated. However, after 6 weeks of being undefeatable, Riston Rogues ran into the buzzsaw that are the executive outcomes, who exercised the termination clause in their contract. Overall, against the A-side competition, Riston's Rogues earned an impressive 3-1-0 record as Hubris Inc., Ghost Legion, and Blitzkrieg all fell before them. Riston's Rogues posted elite numbers throughout the year, grabbing 19 kills to finish 4th and tying for the fewest mechs lost with 8.
First Clovis Lancers was a newcomer to the league and a newcomer to Tabletop Battletech. Led by the 2nd youngest stable master, the first Clovis Lancers proved their mettle in Week 8 in a do-or-die situation, securing the prize in a winner-take-all matchup with the veteran clan Cobra Chickens, earning the victory and a chance at A-side glory. The first Clovis Lancers' inexperience was on display when they did play elite competition, however. They stumble to a 0-win, 3 losses, and 0-tie record against A-side playoff teams, losing to Merrick's Marauders, Cavalier Commandos, and the reviled 55th Shadow Division. The Clovis Lancers also faced the second most demanding schedule of all the playoff teams. The first Clovis Lancers, however, were no slouches themselves, securing 16 kills, good enough for 7th best total overall in the league. They did lose 12 mechs for the 6th best total.
All right, let's do a breakdown of what is going to be on the field for these two teams. We've got Riston's Kentaro with the twin SRM-6, the Wolverine, twin SRM-6, Archer, twin LRM-15, and twin large lasers. Now you back that up with the beefy Banshee throwing 2 PPCs and an AC-10 downrange. You begin to see a pattern here. Riston's likes pairs. Keep that in mind when you play them at the poker table. Now the Lancers are going to answer back with the Wolverine, with the Ultra 5 and SRM-6, that very cockroachy, scary rifleman that just refuses to die, with 2 ER PPCs and ER large lasers, an Archer with 4 medium pulse lasers and an LRM-15.
Two.
So don't, or 2 LRM-15s.
2 LRM-15s.
Yes, right. 2 LRM-15s. Let me clean my glasses off here, people. So don't expect that thing to stand back like you saw the Clan Cobra Chicken and the American Marauder Archers. This guy gets in and mixes it up with those 4 medium pulse lasers. And he's got the classic Devastator, low-tech version with the 2 AC-10s and 2 large lasers. This one is going to be a very interesting match to watch just because of this mix of firepower between the two teams. It's going to be hard fought, but I got to give this one to Jeff and the Riston's Rogues. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be 4-3, but I got to give this one to Jeff.
On paper, these two teams match up mech for mech really nicely. It looks like it should be a pretty even match. However, that being said, I think the experience of Riston's Rogues will win out against our newcomer, not a noobcomer, but a newcomer in the first Lancers. Rogues victory 4-2.
Couple of corrections I want to add into this. First off, the Rifleman has 2 ER PPCs and 2 large lasers, not ER large. Its heat isn't quite that bad. I want to give it to the rookie. I really do. I really think he's got some great skill, and I'm terrified of that Rifleman, especially when they upgraded one of the 2 ER PPCs to Clan ER PPC status in the final skill pickup.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's nothing to sneeze at. However, I got to give it to Riston's Rogues. They're going to win this. I think 4-2 is also a perfectly acceptable answer to that. I just think that the Lancers are going to put the Rogues on their heels a few times. Experience is going to put him back on his feet, and he's going to win it. Game number 4, we have the 5th place executive outcomes. 5 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie, with 16 kills for and 10 against. They come up against the 6th place Cavalier Commandos. 4 wins, 2 ties, 2 losses, with 11 kills and 8 losses. The executive outcomes represents the undisputed preseason favorite to win the league. And this lofty mantle was based primarily on the fact that the executive outcomes were 2-time champions of the last iteration of the league. And after a pair of quick victories to begin the season, the hype definitely seemed warranted. Then, 4 weeks into the season, the executive outcomes had stumbled to a 2-1-1 record, and everyone just plain stopped talking about them. Since then, all the executive outcome have done is knock off 3 straight opponents, including the league-leading Riston's Rogues in Week 7. Though an unfortunate scheduling tie against Hubris Inc. robbed the outcome of a showcase game to end the season, the momentum was definitely on their side. The executive outcomes post a 1-0-2 record against A-side teams, so undefeated against A-side teams, with the tie against Hubris Inc. being due to scheduling issues, so that kind of waffles the outcome. The executive outcomes consistently put up a great, but not gaudy statistics all year, scoring 17 kills, good enough for 6th overall, and defensively the outcomes have lost 11 mechs, which was the 5th best total in the league, once again showing that he's not scared to lose a few machines to kill someone else.
Cavalier Commandos have quietly put together the second half of the season's most significant turnaround after a spirited Week 5 tie in a match against the Einherjar that left them sitting in 13th place in the league overall. With a record of 1 win, 2 losses, 2 ties, the Commandos have rallied, putting together an impressive 3-game winning streak to control their own destiny and catapult up the ranks all the way into 6th place overall, finishing in A-side playoffs. The Cavalier Commandos' record against A-side players this season is 1 win, 1 loss, and no ties. They defeated the First Clovis Lancers, but lost to Merrick's Marauders during the regular season. Cavalier Commandos have earned 11 kills, tied for 10th overall, and the lowest total of any of the A-side players. So they haven't killed a lot, and it's by a wide margin. However, that being said, their shortage of offensive might was definitely counterbalanced by an elite defense. Commandos have lost only 8 mechs all season. We played 8 games, do the math, tying with Risted's Rogues for the league's lowest losses.
Okay, so now let's break down what the laser light and pyrotechnics are going to look like for these 2 teams. Executive outcome, Banshee 3S, Griffin PPC and LRM 10, the Warhammer with twin ER PPCs, and an Orion with an LB 10X and Clan LRM 20. Nothing to shy away from in this lance. Cavalier is bringing in that P-Hawk with a large pulse and the 2 medium pulses, and he's been doing some pretty good backstabbing with that one. He's got the support with the Trebuchet with 2 LRM 15s, the classic Scrummer Thunderbolt with an ER large and an LRM 15, ending off the back of the pack for the long-range support, 3 ER PPCs on that awesome. This is going to be the ultimate argument of offense versus defense. JP, from all the times that I have observed him play with his teams over the years, he has been a very offensive player, and it's not a bull in a china shop offensive either. It's a very calculated offense. Dave, he's a very good defensive player. So this one is going to come down to which holds up the best, and also quite a bit of luck. I'm going to be sticking by my call. It's going to be your boy Dave. He's taking the top. He's taking it all. He's going to beat the executive outcome.
Well, now, if this can be a shooting match, the Commandos stand a chance. However, you know what they say. Best defense is a solid offense. So I got to predict an executive outcome to move on to round 2 in a 3-2 victory.
Normally, I would go with the executive outcome. 2-time league champion, extremely strategic player, great dice most of the time. This season, however, he's been up and down. His luck has not been where it has been normally, and some of these league rules have thrown him for a bit of a loop. Dave is playing solid 3-game winning streak. I think he's going to surprise JP, and we're going to see a 3-2 win, but for the Cavaliers. Now that wraps up our Division 1 games. Let's get into the Division 2, which are the teams ranked 10th through 17th. Because the Hubris Inc. dropped out for playoffs, 17th team does get in. Game 1, we'll see the Clan Cobra Chickens leading the pack here, facing up against the Red Sun Irregulars. These teams did not face each other during the regular season, so it should be a darn good game.
Clan Cobra Chickens, Hunchback, twin LRM-10s, and some medium lasers. Orion, LB-10, LRM-10. Sorry, LRM-20. Archer with twin LRM-20s. And a Zombie Awesome with 3 PPCs that has been getting some lucky shots and taking some heads. This team is set up for some long-range missile fire. Red Suns, however, no slouch in the range game either. Caesar, ERPPC, and Gauze Rifle. Centurion, 6'9" mover, so he's speedy with an LB-10 and an LRM-10. Warhammer with 2 PPCs and 6 medium lasers to back that up. It gets more dangerous if you get close. And an Awesome with 3 ERPPCs rounding out this lance. Neither team is afraid to throw down, and this will be a fight between Rocky and John McClane here. Who's left standing wins. 4-3 victory. Kind of hard to call this one. I think Gary is looking for win. He's gunning for going forward, and is just going to manage to scrape it with some sort of a lucky shot that puts the Clan Cobra Chickens off beat earlier on in the game.
Do I really need to say it, people? Y'all know what I'm going to say. Cobra Chickens, done. Stick a fork in them. Get the fire extinguisher. They're beyond burnt. Reduced to their component atoms. They're done. This one is going to the Red Suns. This one's going to be ugly as well. It's going to be a 4-1 for the Red Suns.
I predict that the Clan Cobra Chickens pull up a upset victory, 3-0 for Cobra Chickens.
Yeah, I'm just going to take your money on that one. You may as well just hand it over now.
Game number 2 of the B-side playoffs are going to be the Carstairs Stables facing off against the Shite Hawks, whose teams have faced each other in round 3 and ended up as a tie game. My prediction for this one is Carstairs Stables have been playing pretty tough. They're going to take out the Shite Hawks 2-1.
Beef. Carstairs brings the beef. Wolverine, 55 tons. Thunderbolt, 65 tons. Battlemaster, 85 tons. Awesome, 80 tons. Multiple zombies. Multiple combat wisdom. Don't expect this team to get head capped. And they will need to be beat into submission. Shitehawks, they've seen some solid growth this year, but they are one of our greener teams. A Dervish, 55 tons, but weak on armor. A Phoenix Hawk that has definitely been being played better in the second half of the season. Warhammer and Devastator. He's got some punch, but I don't think it'll be enough. 3-1 Carstairs victory. Move on to round 2.
The Hawks are going to play the spoiler in this one. They have been adapting, improvising, overcoming. They've been learning as they've been playing. These guys are going to be your B-side spoilers. I can see them pulling off, I'd say, a 2-1 victory. It's not going to be a big one, but it's going to be a low-end victory for the Hawks on this one.
Moving on to game number 3 of the B-side playoffs, we see the Killer Bunnies and Macross Stables going up against each other. These teams have not seen each other at all this season. The Bunnies have 3 victories to their name, and Macross got their first win in game number 8. My prediction is the Bunnies are going to show a little bit of style and grace and bunny stomp all over the Macross Stables moving into round 2 with a 3-2 win.
So both of these teams have the exact same Shadowhawk. It is the 3050 upgraded variant that they've both slapped a Clan LRM 20 on. Rounding out the Macross stable is a Warhammer with twin PPCs and a bunch of machine guns. Our one and only Marauder with a twin large pulse, twin medium pulse, and an LB10, one of my favorite variants of that mech, and 3 ERPPC Awesome, rounding out this bad boy lance. Bunnies are bringing that Shadowhawk as well. A Grand Dragon with an ERPPC and twin SRM6s instead of the standard LRMs. And the ever dangerous Dragonfire with the Gauze Rifle, Large Laser, LB10X. Zeus rounds out the last of that lance with an ERPPC, ER Large, LRM15, and twin medium pulse lasers. I think it's going to be a tough fight, no doubt about it. But it will be a 2-1 victory for the Bunnies, bouncing them into round number 2.
I'm going to say the Bunnies are going to take this one. It's not going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be easy. We're in the playoffs, remember, people. This is not the easy peasy lemon squeezy. This is the you are fighting for your continued existence. The Bunnies are going to take this one. Again, not a high-scoring game. They're going to get at least 2 kills. I'm going to agree 2-1 for the Bunnies on this one into round 2.
Game number 4. Crimson Ronin and the Einherjar. It's been all season. I still can't pronounce that. Who just faced off against each other in round 7 for a 0-0 tie game. My bet is that the Einherjar are getting tired of these ties. They're getting tired of getting curb stomped. The Einherjar are going to step it up, and they're going to knock the Crimson Ronin out early, only to save face against the rest of us veterans. And I'm going to say he's going to do it pretty convincingly with a 3-1 win.
Now, both of these teams have that Wolverine 7K with a large pulse laser, medium pulse laser, and twin SRM 6 racks. The Einherjar have put a Clan XL engine in theirs, though, as well as Case. Our second Dragonfire in the league, with a Gauze, Large Laser, and LB10, and an Emperor with twin LB10s and steady hands, so they're far more accurate with the pellets when they do hit. Rounding out the Einherjar Lance is a Vulcan with a Clan Large Pulse Laser. The Ronin bring that Wolverine, a Hunchback with a Clan LB20X and favorite weapon, a Crusader with twin LRM15s, 2 Streak 2s, and 3 medium lasers, and the ever-present Atlas with a Gauze rifle, 2 ER large, and an LRM20. Because there can be only one winner here today, I think we're going to see more of a slugfest game. I think both players are going to try and push to get that win. I think we're going to see more of a slugfest game here than last time. The Ronin will play into that with a 1-0 victory.
It is going to be brutal because I know both teams want to go forward. They want to advance. But I'm thinking the Berserkers are going to finally come out on the field and run roughshod. I'm thinking 3-2 win for the Einherjar over the Crimson Ronin.
Well, this leaves only the Darkana Spirits, as they are team number 17 or 18 in the actual standings, but they're going to be the only team left out of the playoffs. However, they will get an exhibition game with the chance to win door prizes up against one of our potential players for next season, so they definitely have a game ahead of them, and there's a little bit of prize possible, so I'm pretty sure they're going to have a great game. In summary, while the regular season was played primarily to have fun and winning was a secondary consideration, playoffs are a little different story. We will be adding in some rules based mostly on the fact that we can't have tie games. We'll be using the force withdrawal rules from Total Warfare so that the kills can be more clearly determined. There will be no ties. Gameplay is still down to 4.5 hours, but no ties.
Just like regular season, kills are king. We need chalk outlines on those grounds. You need bodies. You need bodies and body bags. If you can officially kill 2 mechs and your opponent cripples all 4 of yours but doesn't officially kill any of them, you win. Your 2 kills win. If the kill count is even, then the admin are going to look at the crippled mechs and count those as kills to determine a winner and their level of damage.
There's also another level of surprise here we have for the Division 1 teams, but we're not going to let that rabbit out of the hat yet. However, I'm really looking forward to seeing how things wrap up here in January. For anyone unfamiliar with single elimination, Team 1 versus 8 winner will become Player A. Team 2 versus 7 winner will become B. And 3 versus 6 player becomes Player C. And 4 versus 5 player will become D. Round 2, we will see Player A, winner of the 1st versus 8th, and Player D, who is the winner of the 4th and 5th. The second game will be Player B versus C. The winner of these 2 games will play overall in Round 3. As players are eliminated, however, we will be doing our best to organize fun, exhibition-style games against players who haven't matched up against each other during the regular season or the playoffs, so that we can build the camaraderie of the community.
One final statement on this. There is no surrender. Play your 4.5 hours. Doesn't matter if you lose your mechs early. You're down to 1 machine. You play it out. The games have to be played out because it matters overall to who wins, who loses.
Is it just me, or is everybody feeling like they should have paid more attention in trigonometry class with this A plus B plus C, but we're still not going to find your X?
Well, you know where to find my X. She'll be sitting in B-side playoffs. No matter how this turns out, I am looking forward to a crap ton of work for playoffs, followed by a bunch of work just to get ready for next season.
This has been an amazing season. Just big thanks to the community for making it happen. Players, the camaraderie, the friendships, the family. That is what has been the best thing about this season. And if this continues this season, the league itself will continue to succeed into the future.
Speaking of the future, that brings me to another point that is near and dear to all of us, the podcast. With an average over 70 views per episode and a mind-boggling 32 subscribers for us. We've been a lot more popular than we had ever expected to be. We started the show hoping to add a little value to our league players, and it appears we're doing that for some international viewers and for the community at large. And we want to thank you very much for that.
Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night and lights out.